Glad to have in the conversation. She is the former councilwoman at large, the Honorable Blondell Reynolds Brown is joining us. She is now an advisor and lobbyist to Frank D.
Chico.
Him. Yes. That is who she is working with. We're so excited about that. To her right, maybe your left, it is good to have in the studio with me for a third time. I am excited as well to welcome back into the conversation the Honorable Anthony Phillips, City Council member, City of Philadelphia, representing the 9th District. You can wave and say hello. Reverend Dr. Rocky Brown, former elected official, and also of Brown and Associates, and Napoleon Kincaid, who is joining us as well, who is a writer for the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. My name is Frankie Darcell, the afternoon drive personality for 105 WDAS at 105.3 WDAS. I left off the 3, y'all. I am so into this conversation. Listen, I want you to slide. We are welcoming people from not only here in the city of Philadelphia, but around the country as well. People are listening as well via the iHeartRadio app. So if you're listening, invite people in. I want to see the comments as well. Let me know where you're checking in from. We're talking about the debate. So September 10th has come and gone. The debate is now over. I'm going to start 45 seconds. Blondell Reynolds Brown, I'll start with you. Your take on the debate.
My take is that this evening, the last 90 minutes that we saw were a reminder that we are in the tightest consequential presidential contest that I've seen in a generation. And clearly the contrasts were made. We have choices to make. We can seek to follow the dictator who prevails with insults and accusations and drama, or we can look to the youthful warrior in that of Vice President Kamala Harris, who is still seeking to help us understand that democracy is on the line.
All right. Thank you. The Honorable Council Member, Anthony Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think tonight what we saw was Donald Trump was stumbling over his words because Vice President Harris literally stumbled him, put him into a corner, and made him really speak on policies and his ideas that he's been saying all along that have been very not only offensive, but also have been out of touch with the American people. And so I think what Vice President Harris did tonight was that she warmed up. I think in the very beginning, she was very going off a script, but then towards the end, I felt like she started to feel the energy of the room and just went off a script, almost like Dr. King did in 1963 at the March in Washington, went off a script, just took a script away, said, I'm done with it, and just started speaking from the heart, which I think was really important for American people to hear.
All right, Reverend Dr. Rocky Brown.
I saw an opportunity for Trump to give his plan, and there was no plan. There was nothing but a bunch of rhetoric, a bunch of lies, but I saw in the vice president what she brings to the campaign. She talked about, I bring the value to the campaign. And the value that she brings is truth, a plan, a heart for this country, and a future and not the past.
All right. Also joining us in the conversation, Napoleon Kincaid, who is a staff writer for the Philadelphia Sunday Sun.
Okay, first of all, I just want to state that my remarks, my opinions on your show, Frankie, are not any
reflection of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun.
Or,
so I'm just going to
or the spirit.
Or the spirit. So I'm going to refer to you
my
as
opinion. These are my remarks.
So how would you like for me to refer to
Kincaid.
You? A what?
I'm a journalist.
Journalist. Okay.
Philadelphia, long-time journalist, 42 years.
Okay. Very good. We'll do that. Thank you for that. Go
what
right
I,
ahead.
What I
45
saw,
seconds.
What I saw tonight at this debate, it gave Kamala Harris an opportunity to
Vice President Kamala Harris
establish her identity. Before she became the presidential nominee, Democratic nominee for president, there was hardly any type of identity with Harris. She was a former district attorney back in California, San Francisco, DA, known for putting black men in jail, increasing
45 of them.
increasing their sentences. You know, instead of sticking to their original sentence, you know, she did it to over 1,500 black
Let
men.
me ask you. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Here's what because what I don't want. Here's
and
wait,
that's
wait,
why
wait.
she's
Here's
not
what
going
we're
to get
not
the black
gonna do.
vote.
Here's what we're not gonna do.
From black men.
Here's what
that's
we're not.
why she's not
let me
going to
say
get the black
this.
vote.
But let me
black
say
men.
this. Let me say
I'm going
this.
to tell you that right now.
No, but I'm going to tell you. But wait.
But she's
Here's what
establishing
we're going to do.
her identity
Here's what
tonight
we're going
at
to
the
do.
debate.
Here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
You're not Donald Trump. I'm not Kamala Harris.
Okay.
And what you're not going to do on this show
All right.
is interrupt me. So when I ask
Well, I
you
was
for a fact,
talking.
no. Okay, see, don't interrupt.
Okay.
Don't interrupt.
All right.
That's not going to happen. So we're gonna lay that groundwork.
Well, I was
now.
talking, and you interrupted me.
No,
you stopped me.
no. Okay, so there we go again.
Okay.
Something about them Trump supporters, boy. I just tell you the commonality between you all is just fascinating. And this is not ABC. So that's not going to happen. What we do here, and I want to lay the ground rules, and respectfully,
Please.
all of my guests, when they make a comment, they need to come with facts. This is not some... hold on, because I'm talking. This is not a place for any of my guests in the 30 years and 25 that I've been doing community affairs, that you can just ramble with just opinions. You can have your opinion. That's fine. Who you vote for, I just need everybody to go to the polls and vote. But if you're going to make a statement, I'm just going to need you to back that statement up with your facts.
Okay. I will.
All right. So,
Where'd you get that 15,000?
but you need, and Rocky, you
1,500.
need to let me
I
host
didn't
my
say
show.
15,000, 1,500.
Okay. So
Black
all I
men
need,
in jail.
all I need you
Increase
to,
their
and where
sentence.
did you get that information from?
So it's over.
No. And where did you get the information from?
I Google it.
Okay.
Information came up.
I Googled how to make banana pudding too, and it tasted terrible. Where did you get your facts from? You're a journalist. And as a journalist, one thing we do is we can reference each of our sources. So I'm asking you as a journalist, where did you get your information from before you decided to come to this forum?
Newspapers in California.
What newspaper?
San Francisco.
San
papers.
Francisco what?
Chronicle.
They don't have a
What-
San
what-
Francisco Chronicle.
What have you?
All right, so let me start at the end of
I mean,
the...
did you research it?
Absolutely. I looked at her record, and we were talking about 40,
So how many
44.
black men were in
It
prison?
was 40. It was
and
40.
she increased their sentences for no reason.
No, that's not true. There's not a document that states, as a prosecutor for the state
so
of
she didn't
California,
withhold one black man's sentence.
she did not. And if she
And
did,
that
you
man-
tell
and
me
that- and that
that's
man
your
was on
position.
death row.
If you did,
And then
what man? What man are you talking about?
After he was
What
executed,
man are you talking about? What's his name?
she released the
What
evidence
man are you talking
that would have
about?
made him innocent.
What man are you talking about? What's his name? You're a journalist.
I didn't write down his name, but that's also
No, it's not.
That's also
You
documented.
don't. You're stating facts about something.
You
You're
just
saying,
don't want to admit that is true.
well, you don't know the man's name. You don't know the newspaper where you got the information from.
Okay, all right, you got that.
All right, so let's just go back, and I want to take the comments as well from people who are calling in, and I want you to get your facts out. I want you to get your points out relative to the debate. But what we're not going to do in this forum is just ramshot some not truths, whether it be about the vice president, from any of my guests, or about the former president. So I'm going to give you the last 35 seconds for your opening comments, and then we'll open up the forum to talk about the debate. And in most debates, there's what people consider to be a win and loss, and why do you think so? And I'll go back around my panel. So your last 30 seconds.
Okay, like I was saying, she established her identity tonight, and you know she gotta do that because nobody hardly knows her. Okay, on YouTube, okay, they interviewed a bunch of black men and black people that don't even know her per se. They don't even know who she is, what she represents. These are black folks across the United States. So a lot of the black voting, she's not going to get. Trump going to get those votes because the black community across the country are, in favor of what he's trying to do for the American people. And for
what
the
do you
American,
reference for your data? That's your opinion. But do you have data to support that statement?
Well, it's been a series of
YouTube. Okay. Let
network.
me go to the end of the table. Nearly 2 hours for this debate. Let me start with either of my guests. If there were a one loss, what kind of stood out for either of my guests in this debate? Do you think that the vice president was effective? We know that mainstream media has said she needs to get to know it's about 25% of the American people, per the New York Times, in their recent polling, that stated that a lot of Americans stated that they did not know who the vice president was, particularly for those independent voters and those centrist voters, those people in the middle. To my guess, do you believe that she was able to accomplish that?
The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Tonight was indeed designed for both of those candidates to have an opportunity to come before the American people and speak to their plans, speak to their vision, speak to what they bring to the table for moving us forward. The contrast, in my view, was made, and while we can all have an opinion, no one can argue the facts. We can all have an opinion, but no one can argue the facts. My delight was in Vice President Kamala Harris providing detailed, data-based evidence for the plans and call the area that you want to talk about, be it child care, be it tax credits for small businesses, be it greater increasing the number of housing units for those on housing. How about maintaining Obamacare and why it's important to maintain Obamacare? All backed up by facts and details. And that's what most Americans want to look for in the leader who's going to come with a sense of discipline and self-respect and grace when leading those who they believe in, or leading those voters whom the leader that they believe in.
All right,
So
I want to ask
struck
you.
by the contrast.
Yeah, I want to ask the folks who are watching as well on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello to Robin Savage and Sherry Pitts. Hello to, I believe that's Anita. Hello to Anita. Thank you so much. Hi, Patricia Cotton. Just wanted to hear your appearance on that. And hello to Henry Gomez. Let's say hello to Dwana Frazier Carey checking in from North Jersey. So was the vice president or the president, did you believe that either of the candidates, how do you believe they performed tonight in getting their points across to the American people?
I was at one of the debate watch parties earlier tonight, and I believe a lot of folks were thrilled when Vice President Harris called out Donald Trump for his continued race, his comments about her race and her ethnicity. I believe that she hit it right on the point. She said, literally, if you're going to be the president of the United States, it is disappointing and disgusting that you're applying for a job where you're not acknowledging people for their ethnicity and their race, or who they identify, and you're downplaying their ethnicity in that particular way. And I think that really resonated with a lot of people that I was in the room with. And then the other thing that resonated with a lot of folks is that they didn't want people to forget the January 6th incident in which President Trump at the time did call on his supporters to go to the Capitol, and she laid out a really good story of how that happened, especially with some of the officers that were also hurt, and also some of them were killed that day, and other individuals. So, I think that was very poignant for a lot of voters, just to remind them, like, if there's anything policy related that's the difference between the two of them, that's cool. But the biggest thing is, like, are you qualified morally and ethically to be president? And I think that she hit that on.
You know, it's interesting. Monique Green on Facebook. You guys keep the comments coming. I'm going to read as many as I can. She said, I like that Kamala told number 45 that he was debating her and not Biden. I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that comment, if you would, Napoleon.
Well, I think Trump was testing her to see how strong a presidential candidate she wants to be. You know, Trump is a person that will try to push your buttons. He will try to get the truth out of you, you know, and that's the way he is. You know, that's why he called himself, you know, I want to be dictator, because he liked to push people buttons. He liked to force the issue, and he liked to put pressure on people to talk and to identify themselves to him.
All right.
That's why he has fired a lot of people in his cabinet when he was president, because the fact, if they don't measure up to his standards.
Like who, for example?
To his standards.
Like who, for example?
He got rid of a number of people.
Like just give me one.
Huh?
Give me one.
Number.
Okay, Rocky,
number.
your thoughts?
My thought is that she had a plan. The thing that stuck with me the most, what she called an opportunity economy, an economy that's for all people, and how she wanted to build up the middle class America, and starting off with small businesses and giving them $50,000 startup money. That resonated with my pocket right away. You know, he has no plan. He just talked about a bunch of scare tactics and about the past. And the thing that was the thing that made me really suspicious of the situation, anytime you talk about yourself and you say everything was brilliant, everything was excellent, everything was perfect, nothing in this world is perfect. And so his narcissism showed tonight.
All right. Leroy Jones said, I think that it was split. After this, a lot of undecided voters are still undecided. Patricia Cotton, thanks a lot for checking in. My cousin was one of the Central Park Five, so I need say anything else. Thank you for your comments. Keep them coming. We are Facebook Live. Share with your friends. I believe this is Anita. She was very clear that rhetoric is not important. However, values and moral are, which can tell, though, his rhetoric, okay, that's a pretty long one, rhetoric that his morals and values are not ones that we need in the person leading the country. Let's see, we have a number of comments. So please keep those comments coming. And please feel free to engage in the conversation that we're having right now. It was nearly 2 hours. It was supposed to run 90 minutes. It literally went over by about 14 minutes, and there was a commercial break in there as well. Did you think as well, and Blondell, I'll come to you, that either of the candidates looked presidential or presented themselves presidential? Was that an issue? Is that something that America needed to see, how presidential either of the candidates would be from their demeanor and the debate tonight?
Absolutely. That is a quality. That's an expectation. That's a standard that we want going to use Vice President Kamala Harris' words, a new way forward. The scare to be stuck in the past of an individual who uses most of his communication to demean, demoralize, and provide insults wrapped around drama is, as she said repeatedly, is a part of the past. We as voters really need to think seriously and examine our own hearts, not just for us, but for our children. What example of a leader do we want our children to follow? And a rhetorical question, it is not. It's not at all. Was he presidential? I think the answer for Blondell Reynolds Brown, the answer for me is not at all. When you constantly, to quote our Pastor Brown here, when you constantly draw the attention to yourself versus qualifying and indicating to voters that it really is not about me, It really is about those of you whose hearts I'm trying to move, to help to move you to a place where you will be okay in offering me your vote. He was not presidential at all.
All right. Any other comments from the panel before I move on to the first
I want
question?
to
here?
say this. I thought she was presidential and showed her leadership and her unafraidness or her lack of fear of him. But when she got on that stage and walked directly into his area and said, "Hello, I'm Kamala Harris."
She's ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Councilman?
Yeah, Vice President Harris has a level of formality as well as a level of intelligence that is really heightening when she speaks. So therefore, that is half the battle when becoming, looking to be the president of the United States. But I also believe that her poise as well as her ability to be able to captivate the audience with helping them understand that she knows how to make an argument in a very succinct and genuine way. So I think she did that really well tonight.
And to tie public policy to her own personal professional experience.
Yeah.
That's when I am connected to leaders, because they have lived experience.
Yeah. One of the things that they were saying was that and I think to even your point, Napoleon, that there are people that don't know her. I kind of doubt that with the success of the social media campaign. There are more people that know her, and I think raising nearly $500 million in almost 95 days proves a number of those donations were donations from common people of $15 and $20 and $25. I mean, there's some people who have been elected in a number of areas, some people in your own communities when it comes to city council and mayors, and there are people in your neighborhood. If you ask them, who just sounds like a city council rep? I don't know, but I take that. I digress. But with that, the vice president, in addition, was looking to engage that 18 to 34 demographic. My producer, who is here, started as an intern and is producing the show this evening. Reese Green is in the studio. Reese wanted to find out from you two to get your take as well. You're a senior in college, and just would like your take on the debate in general and what you saw and how you have engaged the election.
To first start off, what I saw in this debate was I saw my mother on the stage.
Speak up.
I saw you, Miss Frankie, on that stage. I saw you, Miss Blondell, on that stage. I saw every black woman in my life that has impacted me and made a difference in this world. We saw a strong black woman up there defy all odds. Regardless of how this election goes, we just had a black woman go on stage in front of all of America and talk down on probably the biggest racist that known to man ever. That's like her talking to like Hitler or all those people back then. At least that's how I define it.
All right.
And that means a lot to me.
I asked you earlier, for your generation, that 18 to 35, if I can say you're 21.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Are your peers engaged in this election? Do they know what's happening, and where are you getting your information
Yes,
from?
we are. One thing is we get all of our information from social media. Instagram is our biggest player. We have timelines full of just news. Black Twitter has been blowing up. I've been looking at all the memes and stuff. But the biggest thing is that us college students, like my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Eta chapter, right now we're literally having an event at Villanova University for a debate watch party. That's what we're seeing. We're having watch parties across everyone on every campus, especially here in Philadelphia, where we're watching this. We're experiencing history, because that's what this is.
All right. Thank you so much, Leroy Jones. I'm going to talk to our associate producer, the divine Miss M, who is also a student at
Drexel
University.
Awesome.
First of all, let me just say that Monica Green says, kudos, young man. We need your vote. There are others that are saying, what about the ones who aren't in college? Leroy must be a friend of yours. Okay, he's on Facebook. Thank you, Mr. Leroy. I want a question from you, Mr. Leroy, because here's the thing. I think it's important. First of all, I want to come to the divine Miss M. Then I want to come back, because I think it is important to hear the voices of people, no matter who they're voting for. And I want to come back. I want to come back to you, Napoleon, because at the end of the day, what we want to be able to do, even when we disagree, is to be able to be disagreeable, but have a conversation with each other.
Discourse.
And if it's your opinion, it's your opinion.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to state facts, you need to be able to back those, especially as a journalist. So let me come to you, Miss M. And I asked you the same question, particularly as a woman of color. I won't ask the age; it's a difference when you ask women. But your thought on the debate and what you saw.
My thought on the
I need you to speak up.
Oh, sorry. My thing with the whole debate, I think as a woman of color and also with parents of immigrant status and kind of having both Kamala and Trump talk about immigrants and both talk about them in a different light, it hit really close to home to me, especially when it's like, now you're talking about my people. Now you're talking about my parents, my grandparents. And in the talks of that hitting home to youth, I have a 14-year-old sister who it's like everything he's saying that directly not even only affects me, it affects her as well. So it was just like, I just felt disrespected throughout the whole thing. And I think for me personally, I felt so proud. I felt so enlightened to see someone who looked like me, who looked like my mom, looked like my aunts, to be up there defending us in a way that hasn't been seen before. Because I know, at least for me, in the sight of like a child of an immigrant parent, it's like I witnessed these struggles that they had to go through, not even just being here in America as people of color, but also being people who don't really speak the language as fluently.
All right. So what are you talked about your parents and grandparents being immigrants.
Yeah.
What kinds of conversation, if you don't mind sharing, are maybe your parents or people you know from your community who are children of immigrants or immigrants? What's being said in the community about the election and as it related to the comments you just made?
For us, it's a really big thing because here in this election, we have one person who has continuously through time made negative, disrespectful, degrading comments on the one very thing that has given us the opportunity to, for me, go to school here, for my parents to improve. My parents are now homeowners. No one in my family besides my parents are homeowners just because they migrated to a country that made it easier for them. So in this election, we have someone who's basically hates my parents for what they did and the people that do the same thing, and someone else who's being like, okay, we have a way to make sure that you're coming here safely, you're coming here legally, and that you are set up with all the resources that you need to excel here. So to me, it's not really a decision between like Trump or Kamala. It's more so, am I going to support the people who came and gave me the life that I have now, or am I going to support a person that constantly doesn't want me and mine to succeed? That's kind of for me.
And Frankie, Miss M has elegantly stated the contrast that we saw in tonight's debate.
Right.
And coming out of the mouths of babes, if you will, I cannot tell you how encouraged I am and excited to see young people who are paying attention, actively engaged, and in many ways giving us hope that for all that our candidate, Vice President Kamala Harris wants to do for us, that you all are paying attention and see clearly, up close and personal, that she is speaking for you. She's offering you hope, optimism, and quite frankly, joy for what the future holds. So your commentary was just so very, very encouraging.
I just had a quick comment. I love everything that happened tonight. I think she was spot on with all of the issues. The only concern that I'm thinking about is, did they go far enough talking about issues that are local to individuals and cities? Whereas people are more concerned about funding for rec centers. They're more concerned about, public safety. They're concerned about their schools and trash, things of that sort, how the federal government can play a role in supporting some of our citizens.
All right. See, now you're in my neighborhood, Mr. City Council Member. So all right, let's get, because and let's talk about that, because as we've engaged this conversation, I think the average person, even understanding the branches of federal government,
Civics.
judicial, executive, judicial, executive, and presidential branch of government. Here's the thing: when we talk about trash, Mr. Council Member, all politics are local. You have to know who your ward leader is. You have to know who your city council member is. You have to know who your state rep is. You have to know who your state senator is. You have to know who your county commissioners are. You need to know who your mayor is. Those, when you walk out your front door, the first person that any voter should know are the people who they elect locally. And then we talk about your congressional member, your member who represents you in Senate, and then the federal government. I believe, to your question, Council Member, that there are people holding the vice president accountable for issues that should be handled by their local municipalities.
That's true.
Your response to that?
And the quick response to that is that we just had a press conference with Congressman Boyle and a few others, in the federal government. The city of Philadelphia has had some of the schools that need literal overhauls in terms of rebuilding.
Correct.
And Congressman Boyle said, listen, we need to find a way to literally get the federal government involved with funding this massive issue that no local municipality similar to Philadelphia can actually handle. So yes, local, has to handle sanitation and so forth.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like overhauling a dynamic of some of our infrastructure, the federal government could chip in.
Okay, let's
money.
to that point. I would say to you that the State House first is responsible for the kind of funding that comes to the city of Philadelphia before we jump from Philadelphia to the federal government. The first question would be, what kind of funding is coming from the state? Is Philadelphia getting its equal share of dollars, educational dollars, being funded first by the state? That's the first question that I would ask state representatives. And are they bringing that money from Harrisburg to Philadelphia? Secondly, then to your point, one of the things we talked about is the impact of electing Donald Trump and the Project 2025 project, which would eliminate the Department of Education. So to your point, Council Member, there would be no federal dollars if in the event Trump became the next president, because there would be no Department of Education.
And no Title I and no funding for child care.
Absolutely. Let's bring Napoleon in on that. Any of those issues you want to comment on, especially as it relates to funding. Let me just say as well that Taylor Swift, the Swifties, has endorsed, and listen, and would do it on a night like, look, I just sat here and watched the election click. That is major. So let me get Napoleon. I don't want you to be, I don't, you and I have talked off the record and the like. And I will tell you, and Rocky will tell you, and for people who are watching the show, also Reese, who worked with me throughout the summer, we fact check, and fact check. When I open the microphone and I give information, I have to make sure, one, in the best interest of my audience, that I am giving them Member Phillips and Member Reynolds Brown. It is important because I know how what I tell our people is so impactful. And what that just gets under my angst is that, one, giving our communities, particularly communities of color, pick one, the right information. And once we give them the information that's sometimes hard to get, making sure they have access to the information that we give them. So no one, whether it be a mayor, a city council person, a state representative, a president, or the like, to be able to come on a forum like this and just to be able to ramble, I don't care who you are. I believe that it is imperative that whatever information we give, it's just not some rambling Rambo information that you can't walk away from this forum with. So let me just say, and I feel like I need to do this. Napoleon, you and I have spoken off the record and personally on a number of occasions. You are a Trump supporter, and one of the things that I take issue with in this forum is just the misinformation without fact checking. That can't happen in this forum. So if in the event, so I apologize to you if at the start of the show you missed the rules and regulations before you came in, but you've done my show before. I just need, if you're going to state, facts, then you need to have references, and you're a journalist. But if in the event it appeared to be a little bit hard, accept my apology. But if you're going to state facts, I'm going to be able to need your references. But go ahead.
Okay. First of all, as far as Harris is concerned, like I mentioned at the top of the show, that she's establishing her identity. She has to do that. She has to tell the people her plan, unlike Trump, where Trump is not the president right now, okay? Trump don't have to reveal his full plan. That's like he had over and over again denounced Project 2025 because he was never in favor of Project 2025. He never claimed it. He never embraced it. Instead, he laughed at it and said, no, I don't got nothing to do with Project 25. I believe Trump is the type of individual, he's going to establish his own economic policy plan, and he's going to name it after himself, because that's who he is, the dictator, okay, who wants Trump Tower to be named after him. He puts his name on almost everything that he claims. So when it comes to Project 2025, which is scaring people half to death, he's not claiming that.
All right.
And I believe that. I really believe he's not claiming that because it's a BS economic plan that his Republican cronies drew up.
All right.
Okay?
All right, Rocky.
And because go ahead.
I want to dispute that. First of all, Project 2025.
I'm going to need you to speak up and
First of all,
faster. Please. We're going to wrap up in about 15 minutes. Go.
First up, Project 2025 is a real document that was created by the Heritage Foundation and
cronies.
At least 50% of those involved were part of Trump's administration. He says that he has never read it, but there's a few things on it that he doesn't agree with. So if you never read it, how can you not agree with it? I don't know if you ever heard of Agenda 47.
That's why he has denounced
Have you
it.
ever heard of Agenda 47?
That's why he has denounced
Agenda
it.
47 is...
He never claimed that.
Agenda 47 is Trump's agenda for a next administration. It is a baby version of Project 2025. It's more to it than economics. It's more to it than just dealing with foreign countries. One of the things that it talks about when it comes to local activities, Councilman, in that program, it talks about cities. It would be like Philadelphia, where there's high crime. They would replace the police with the National Guard.
And I'm in favor of that.
You're
I'm
in favor
that.
of National Guard coming
Because
in
when
rather than police from your neighborhood?
When they brought
when
they brought the National Guard here before, okay, they put them up on 52nd Street.
That was a temporary situation. That wasn't a
shopping
permanency.
mall at Parkside Avenue, and nobody committed a crime during the week.
But that was during
that
a
the
riot.
National Guard was here.
This would be an everyday
Philadelphia,
activity.
the police department is so damn weak that your former police commissioner had to leave the city because she ain't want nothing to do with a weak police department. Okay, and now you got Kevin Bethel, who took over as the new police commissioner, trying to hold his own. Trying to hold his own.
Frankie Darcell, we can all have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And black crime is still rampant. Black and black people are still killing each other at a high rate.
I'm speaking.
All right.
Because the Philadelphia Police Department cannot control the crime.
So you want
in the black neighborhoods.
Okay, so let me give the Honorable Blondell Brown. Yes.
We can all have an opinion.
You got to turn your phone off, Mr. Journalist.
I'm trying to cut
We
it
cannot
off.
argue the facts or the protocols and practices that come with when one administration ends, another administration begins. Anyone who is appointed by the mayor of the city of Philadelphia knows that their clock starts ticking and ends at the end of that first term, unless the mayor is reelected and they get the opportunity to serve a second term. Mayor Jim Kenney was at the end of his first term.
He didn't do nothing.
And that's your opinion. Mayor Jim Kenney was at the end of his first term, and all of those appointed officials know, if they read their appointment letter, that you serve at the will of the mayor. They also know that when a mayor is at the end of his second term, they then must begin to seek employment elsewhere. So it is the former.
Be reason behind that.
Could you
Why
please?
I had to seek
Okay, hold on, Napoleon. See, I set the rules. I set the rules, Napoleon.
When you are appointed by the mayor, the city charter says that you serve at the pleasure of the mayor. And so at the end of a mayor's second term, all of those appointed officials know that they have to begin to look elsewhere. And thus that was the case for the past city police commissioner and all of those who worked formerly for Mayor Jim Kenney. The new mayor has the option and the prerogative, and quite frankly, the privilege on whether or not she wants to reappoint. And the word is reappoint top city officials.
And that's
All right.
almost in
Now,
every
what
city.
we were talking about, and the point where we made the issue was whether or not there should be National Guard. That is in the 2025 project plan. You're a sitting council member. Would you prefer, Member Phillips, to have the National Guard as Napoleon and the former president would suggest in Project 2025 that it is better to have the National Guard patrol the streets of Philadelphia opposed to its police force?
No. And I'm going to tell you why. Actually, the majority of Philadelphia City Council believes in community policing. And we believe in having police officers who know their neighbors, are connected to the businesses as well as the schools, and can be able to have relationships with individuals from the neighborhood. Why do we believe that's important? There's already an antagonizing relationship between citizens and police. If we have more police who know how to properly work with citizens and residents of the city of Philadelphia, will be able to, have a better policing system altogether. What we're trying to do in Philadelphia is have residents, and comes from most of us in city council, residents respect the authority of police officers because they recognize that they have their best interests in mind. The only way they can feel that way is that they see more communal activity from the police officers. The National Guard should only be here in levels of serious emergencies.
Correct.
And that is something that has been big. Yes, but right now, that's not going to solve our problem. What we do need is find a way to have more community policing to solve that issue.
All right. Let me read a couple of comments here. Absolutely know who represents you in office. Thank you so much, Dewana Frazier Curry. Want to recognize Monica Green, who is watching. Thank you so much as well. Leslie Young, he did talk about points of 2025, and they are all on board. Heritage Fund is his financial backing. And when he talks about Napoleon, that he had no idea where this document came from. A number of people who wrote the document were former employees in the White House during the Trump presidency. In addition to that, he was on the plane with one of the CEOs sitting there. You saw that. So if you think, let me ask this question and then you can respond. Do you believe that he would be sitting next to the CEO of the Heritage Foundation, which is absolutely responsible for the document 2025, and that your candidate, Donald Trump, had no idea that he had written that document?
I believe when he was on the plane with the Heritage people, he was trying.
No. Answer my question first, and then you can give me commentary. My question to you was, do you believe that Donald Trump was on his private plane with the CEO from the Heritage Foundation, who formulated and written that 922-page document, and that the CEO at no point had a conversation with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has no idea about that document sitting next to the CEO of the Heritage Foundation?
I believe he was on that plane for a different reason.
Do you believe that Donald Trump sat next to the CEO of the Heritage Foundation and had no idea that that was the CEO of the Heritage
He
Foundation?
knew that it was the CEO
All right, so-
of the Heritage Foundation, but he was there to help them financially.
Okay,
The Heritage
how do you know
Foundation-
that? How do you know what he was on the plane for?
Trump said it, that he was there to help him financially.
And you don't think he
That's what
was helping Trump?
does. He
Wait,
helps
he was
people
helping the Heritage
financially.
Foundation.
Yes.
How did?
Because Trump said it.
You believe everything he said?
So he was. So you're suggesting
I believe Trump has money to throw around,
Oh, you do.
and Trump has been throwing money around.
So why
helping-
then do you
helping
believe?
different folks,
Okay, so you support.
including
So why do you
black
believe the
folks.
Republican National Committee is paying some of his legal bills, and some of the money that's being donated to his campaign is being used toward his legal bills? If he's got money to throw around, then to your point, do you think it's prudent for an individual who's running for president, who would be responsible for have the fiscal responsibility for the United States, would use money from the Republican National Committee and would use that and also give money to the Heritage Foundation, and he's got money to throw around? You think that's prudent to spend the money?
And when did he meet with the Heritage Foundation? About
He was
2 or
on the
3
plane.
Years, about 2 or 3 years ago.
You said
right?
you knew he was on the plane.
About 2 or 3 years ago, right?
I need you to answer my
So
question.
he had a lot more money back then to help the Heritage Foundation.
Okay, let me move on. So we're going to, yes.
I wanted to know, Miss Frankie, just the biggest thing is, why, Napoleon, why do y'all defend this man so badly? That's all I'm asking. Whether it's, we see him, we're going to see all these people on the Epstein list, the so-called list, whatever. Trump's name being on it all the time. Like you just said, I don't think he was going for that reason, whatever. Why do y'all defend him on every single thing? He's not paying you to do this. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about nobody in this room.
You ain't gonna tell me he was on that plane for a different.
Oh my gosh! You see, this is
just
what I'm
to look at
saying.
a project
You aren't getting
2025.
paid to defend him, and
At
that's
that
the
time,
problem.
He was helping the Heritage Foundation with money for their for their foundation. That's what he was doing. He didn't even. He did. They didn't even present it. They didn't even present the 2025 at that time. They were on that plane talking money.
How do you know?
To
Were you
help
on the plane,
to help
Napoleon?
the Heritage Foundation.
And he's helping the
The
foundation.
2025 project wasn't even presented during that time.
How do you know that? Were you in the room
That-
at the meeting?
That happened after.
How do you know? After, where, and when?
That happened after.
When? Tell me. Give me a timeline.
And even if he saw the project 2025,
Okay, so let me
he
move on
still
because
didn't
I
claim
think
it.
he
He still didn't claim it.
Listen,
And I believe him.
Listen,
I believe him.
I've got to agree with Reese.
Who would agree to that 2025?
Now, who would
I looked at it.
Trump would.
Who right? Who
He has
would?
announced it
Who? See,
over and over again.
You know, listen.
Now it's in his literature.
Listen.
that he has
Only
denounced
because they
Project
were attacking him with
2025.
it. Only because they were attacking him with it. It was established in 2022. All right, and it's centered around what he wants to do. If you look at Wikipedia, it'll tell you
What they
the-
want.
It tell you the facts
that's
about
by
it.
the Heritage
It's
Foundation.
it's tied to him.
They typed that crap up.
The Heritage Foundation.
Yes.
That's his people. You know what? You made me do what Kamala did, what the vice president
he's
did.
denouncing
She got a little upset
He's
tonight,
publicly
and she said,
denouncing them. He's publicly announcing.
remember, she said, and this.
So why
and she
would
had to
he
pause
publicly
for a minute
denounce Project 25 right now? Why would he?
because
do
he
that
wants to
publicly
win a
right now?
campaign. He knows it's not helping his campaign. It's telling the truth of what he wants to do. Do you know that Project 2025 in that he wants to consolidate the FBI, the Department of Justice, the Federal Trade Commission,
Well, you need to get
and
rid
the
of the
FCC?
FBI.
Not get rid of them, but put them under his control. That makes him a dictator.
Well,
It makes it a
the
autocracy.
FBI has been soft during recent years.
May I
All
please
these
ask,
unsolved crimes.
Napoleon, may I please
FBI
ask,
supposed to be solving all these crimes and not solving them, letting people get getting away
Where'd you
with
get those?
murder.
Where'd you get that information from? They weren't solving them.
I've been reading on social media about the FBI, the lack of work and execution they have done in recent years.
The FBI executing people?
Huh?
You said the FBI executing people?
I'm talking about as far as solving crime. You know, getting to the nitty gritty of finding who's behind these crime, especially drug
So
crime.
what's that have to do with them
Drug crime
consolidating
and-
that under
and-
him and under his
and-
control?
and sex
You don't think there
trafficking.
should be a
What
separation?
about the sex trafficking? It's the sex trafficking in America is still rampant. You know,
I'm trying to tie that, and you say that, and I'm going to come to, and I'm going to come to
not
blind.
even try to solve sex trafficking.
Here's what we know for sure.
Yes.
That campaigns are about the process of addition and not subtraction. And in thinking about and watching the contrast that became exceedingly clear with Kamala Harris being so very detailed and specific in answering the policy questions, it's my hope that that those 7 swing states, that the independent voters and the Republicans who still have a question mark besides on what they want to do, that Kamala Harris was able to move them to her column and add them to her base. In observing Trump, I can't imagine anywhere where he picked up. His base is hard and solid. They're going nowhere. They're used to being stuck in the mud of insults and the humiliation of your opponent.
Yeah, and to that, go right ahead, council member.
And I just want to, I agree with Councilwoman Bonner Runs Brown. Tonight, what we saw was that Vice President Harris is clear on her stance on when it came to abortion. She was clear on her stance when it came to health care, and she was clear on her stance when it even came to the economy. What's important for her is to create opportunities for middle class, working class individuals through jobs, as well as accessing business credits and incentives and so forth for those individuals. And then also when it comes to healthcare, it's really important that we continue to expand upon the Obamacare, which is going to be really important in the years to come. And so in abortion rights, it was very clear for her. Like she said, listen, we have to protect the right for people to choose. And so for me, I'm thinking that if I'm the people that are in the middle, they're hearing that and they're like saying, okay, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Trump is literally making decisions that he doesn't have plans for around healthcare as well as even abortion, right? He's like, but maybe we can figure out, how to get, states not to do abortion in some cases. You can't do that if you've done reverse Roe v. V.
The abortion issue is so controversial.
Let me say
made
this.
it clear that
Let me say
it's
this.
even up to the states to make those decisions about abortion in states.
But
I agree with that.
The problem is that states will still have that decision
Not
to
the
make
people.
But they will have that
But
decision.
the people are the states. The people are the states.
Well, states.
Napoleon. The state
Every level of government
it's the people.
Let's be clear of that.
It's the
It is
people.
the people.
And that,
Well, I'm right
but
there.
Donald
The
Trump
state.
wants to be a dictator.
State the people.
So if you're a dictator,
Leave it up to the
you don't
state.
have to.
That's the
The
word.
states are the people. So let's just go back as we have about 10 minutes before we're going to wrap up. Let me say to everyone that is watching, thank you so very much. To my guests as well, Blondell Reynolds Brown, Council Member Anthony Phillips, Reverend Dr. Rocky Brown, and Napoleon Kincaid, who is joining me as well. And of course, to the divine Miss M, and also Reese Green, who is in the studio with me. I want to talk specifically now about the debate. It is clear that the undecideds and the people in the middle, for whoever they say, because there have been a number of polls and a number of Gallup polls, and for the most part, most people of color haven't seen people gallop through their neighborhood, but we'll take the polls for what they are. Do you think, first I'll start with Donald Trump, do you think that the former president moved the needle at all? And I'll start with you, Member Phillips. Do you think he moved the needle at all in attracting any new voters? And that's what tonight was about.
I think that his base is going to remain solid tonight. I don't think they've changed. In terms of attracting new voters, I don't think he did anything spectacular that really made them to see him in a different way. There was no level of empathy or change in terms of his demeanor that people may say, oh, wow, he's maybe a little different. He's thought this through. So I don't think there's no new ideas that's going to make people really interested in what he was, going to.
All right. All right. In about 45 seconds, Blondell Reynolds Brown.
Well, Donald Trump wants to take our country backward to a time before many of our American counterparts had full freedoms and rights. My daughter potentially could grow up in a world where her rights are fewer than those that I've lived for the last 50. So if we want to look to the future, then Kamala Harris is my best choice and my first choice for winning the presidency for the United States of America.
All right. To Reverend Dr. Rocky Brown.
I believe that Trump got what he came with, no more than his base. I believe he pushed a lot of fears and rhetoric and scare tactics. And personally, I strongly believe that she looked and she sounded presidential.
She's ready.
All right. Napoleon.
I feel that Trump withheld, his position. He didn't say anything new tonight, but he stood strong on what he always believed in having a safe, secure country, not allowing illegal immigrants to come into our country, to take our lives, to kill us, to take our homes, giving
listen, Napoleon,
that the American people should have. Those
you
same
mean the black job?
The
black job? The black job.
The black job.
Yeah.
Did he take the
The black job.
Well, that's
and let me and I ask you this respect.
I didn't say
but you
black
support
jobs.
what he says. I have to ask you this respectfully.
Okay.
Do you believe that immigrants are coming into the country and doing what the former president alleges that they're
I believe
murdering?
the bad
No,
ones.
well, they're bad Americans, but do you believe that the majority,
a great number of them have been deported back to their own?
No, I'm
country.
asking you. Do you believe that
The bad
the majority
immigrants
that are raping people
been deported back
let me
to
ask
their
you this.
country for committing crimes?
So the moderator was very clear of the incident that was alleged by the former president in Indiana, that there were immigrants coming into Indiana, eating the dogs, chewing them up, and throwing them away. I'm asking you, do you believe that, yes or no? Do you believe that? Well, your candidate said that was, and the mayor of that town debunked that and said that story is not true. Do you still believe what?
Well, I never heard of the story until.
Well, I'm telling you. Well, you may have missed it.
I think it's a crazy story.
He said it.
He said it. He said it tonight.
Well, I never heard it.
He said
Well,
it
just because
tonight.
you didn't hear it, I'm asking you. I'm telling you, trust me when I say to you.
Story.
Okay, so do you believe
something like that?
the former president, Donald
Dogs?
Trump, said that there were individuals coming into this community, eating dogs and animals, chewing them up? That's what he said. Take me at my word. That's what he said tonight. I'm asking you, that's what he said. Do you believe him?
Heard that,
Well,
but-
I'm
but
you're
if-
hearing it
if
now.
Trump is saying that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how he got that information.
Well, it was debunked by the moderator who said that the
city.
mayor said it wasn't true.
But you said he tells the truth. He says everything he says is the truth.
Well, that's a wild story. That's a
Okay.
crazy story.
All right, let's start.
all-
I'm going to start
that's
with
the
you
only thing I
again.
say
I'm going
about
to start
that.
with you again,
Wild,
Blondell.
crazy story.
Do you
Coming out
believe that
city.
this was an opportunity for the vice president to be able to move left or right of center from where she was, particularly because a lot of mainstream media said they need to get to know her better? Do you think that she was able to accomplish this evening an opportunity for people to get to know her better? It was clear, in my estimation, that she not only tied her personal stories of being raised in a middle-class family, she threw in things talking about her mother, she talked about her sister, she talked about how she was raised and the like, and then tied in specifics to her introduction with policy. Do you think she was able to move the needle at all, in your opinion?
I absolutely do believe that. I am always impressed and moved, quite frankly, with speakers who are able to communicate their opinion and or their position that's based on facts and data. Her personal story was woven into all of her commentary, be it threats to democracy, especially on abortion. She has a personal story of a girlfriend of hers who had actually been molested by her stepfather and then came to live with her parents. We know her position on health care. It is a fact that crime has gone down. That data was just shown this past Sunday on the Sunday morning program. And she stated very clearly and explicitly her position around the Israeli-Hamas war. So the answer is yes. The American citizens wanted to get to know her better, and she delivered.
All right. Member Phillips.
You know, I think she did a fine job articulating her plan for the future. In the second debate, I hope that she can spend more time on even her policies, right? She talked a lot about her policies tonight, but I think tonight was also an opportunity for her to show her character, her professionalism, but also most importantly that she is presidential. And I think she did that very well tonight. And hopefully during the next debate, we can hear even more about what she plans to do for the American economy and so forth. She touched on it a little bit tonight, but I think tonight was really about showing the differences in character between her and Donald Trump, and also on very big, larger scale issues that are nationwide, such as abortion, health care, and some economies.
Yeah, but would you agree, though, these debates are not really designed to be able to talk about a lot of policy.
No.
I mean, it's tough. I think, right? I think out there on the campaign trail, and which I think she's been quite successful at doing. The debate is about who gets the minute and 45 seconds. I mean, listen to this show, right? And trying to get a point across. It is tough, especially with,
I would submit also, however, that the moderators have a responsibility and a duty to ask questions about policy, and then they have to push discipline to both speakers so that they answer the questions. And now it is my personal opinion that Donald Trump violated the rules.
Right. But that's why I think that the second debate hopefully will go more deeper into policy, but I do think she did a great job tonight helping people understand the difference in character that her and Donald Trump have, which is actually half the battle.
Yes. And we know that Pennsylvania is going to be, for both of my elected officials, 3 of them here, that Pennsylvania is a huge state. It is a huge state. I just want to take this as an opportunity as well. The final day to register to vote in Pennsylvania is October 21st. And if you want to participate in the November 5th election, October 21st. I'm going to read something as well from the commissioner's office. You don't want to miss that before we go. I'm going to wrap up in the next 5.5, 6, 7 minutes. I'm going to come to you, Rocky, then to you, Napoleon. Yeah. And if you can, I need that information for Delaware, at least to see if that has come down, because tonight was a big election for the city of Wilmington. It was a primary election for our folks to the south, our friends to the south who are in Delaware. Rocky, your opinion about whether or not you believe the vice president moved the needle or not?
I think she not only moved the needle, but I think she hit the ball out the park. She had plans. She has policy. He had no plan. And it was hard for her to deal with her policies and her plans because he kept basically attacking her and throwing lies. And sooner or later, what she had to do was to come out and protect herself and debunk a lot of the lies that he was saying. I don't know if with another debate, and I'm hoping in the next debate, they can deal with more plans and policies, but he has none. Therefore, he'll go in and continue to tell lies and to attack her character. He even went so low as to attack her father, calling him a Marxist, which is not true. And so I think she did great. And I would debate anybody on that. She was excellent. Being a one who works in education, I would give her an A+ and give him a D.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Napoleon, your thought?
I think she did a great job in establishing her identity. Because just like we had talked about earlier, a lot of people, a lot of black folks still don't know who she really is. So tonight, it gave her a chance to establish her identity and to tell the people, the American people, her plans if she becomes president and so on. But one thing I noticed, Trump did do something that I'm proud that he did. He stuck with his insight on stopping crime, stopping illegal immigrants, stopping, getting rid of the FBI, and bringing in the National Guard. And that's part of protecting America people. Harris did not even touch on those topics.
Okay, can I ask you? You might have caused
at least touched on those topics.
Okay, great.
And especially the black on black.
Okay,
crime
can you add?
situation.
Because I watched the whole debate. I was paying close attention. Can you tell me, since he touched on those things and you were proud he stuck to them, just give me specifics about how he's going to handle it. What's his plan on stopping those things?
I believe, like he said, if he becomes president, the wall is going to go back up.
It never went up. Go ahead. He never went up. It never went up.
He's going to secure the border like it's supposed to have been protected. And I believe he's going to make some changes as far as the police departments in each city. I believe he's going to do that. And he's going to give the National Guard an opportunity to come in cities like Chicago, Detroit, Philly, New York, that crime has at times gotten out of control.
Napoleon, he didn't say that. Project 2025 says that. So you like Project 2025, huh? I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, that's in Project 2025.
Okay, pieces, bit and pieces.
Now he likes it.
Bits and pieces.
But he never read it.
But
he
not
likes it.
But not the whole thing.
But he never read it.
Not the whole pie.
He said he never read it.
Not the whole pie.
But he likes parts of it.
Just pieces of
You
the
like
pie.
parts of it, huh?
Pieces of the pie. Okay?
All right, as we
Just
get
like
ready,
If I eat apple pie, I love the apples.
as we get ready
Not necessarily crust.
to wrap up, let's see. And I'm gonna try and work this. See, candidate. Okay, not for governor, for Wilmington. For the city of Wilmington.
Well, let me
they
seize
have
the
the
moment
results
to to say just thank you for this experience. It is the first time I've sat down with others to participate in a debate, but not as comrades, right? Yes. And it was a chance to again be serious about studying the issues, really taking a laser beam focus on the issues. And I commend WDAS and iHeartMedia for giving you the space and giving us the opportunity to do that. And so on behalf of Frank DeChico Associates, we say thank you and we look forward to coming back.
Thank you so much. Before I let you guys go, I wanted to read, let's see, City of Wilmington, City Council. I'm looking, okay, you guys, this is City of Wilmington City Council at large. I'm looking for the mayor's race.
Mayor's seat.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm looking for the numbers, the specific numbers, and it looks like the numbers most of the precincts have reported in around the state. And at this point, it's almost midnight. They have reported. Let's see, candidate Newcastle County. City of Wilmington City Council. I'm looking for the mayor's race because in that race the governor was running for mayor of the city of Wilmington against the former treasurer. So I wanted to see, and I had the former treasurer on the show last week, and I wanted to see City of Wilmington City Council at large. I'm looking for, and if any of you who are watching on Facebook, Delaware Governor John Carney advances and bid to be Wilmington's next mayor. Yeah. So the governor, the governor of Delaware, will be the next mayor of Wilmington.
Say retire from governor and go back.
Right. Let's see. And I'm looking specifically
He
too.
loves public service.
Yes, he
clearly,
does.
right?
Yes, he does. Yes.
Okay, see, I'm going to try not to say what I'm thinking. Because there's a lot of growth in Wilmington.
You don't know how to just let it go.
Well, I'd really like to know as I'm looking at this. I was looking for too this, but see what the percentage numbers were. This is City of Wilmington City Council,
Well.
Newcastle County.
Yeah.
I'd really like to know what the breakdown.
He got 40% of the vote.
No, that was Matt Meyer.
Yeah, I was going to say 40% is
Matt
pretty
Meyer,
high.
where-
Where
Governor.
primary election.
We're talking about the Wilmington.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Wilmington.
The city of the mayor.
Okay.
Okay, all right, here we go. I just
Governor.
love young people. They move faster than the rest of us. Wait a minute. What am I looking at? Mayor. Carney got 54%. Listen, Carney, the governor, got 54% of the vote.
Pretty good.
And Jones Potter, she fared well, 46% of the vote.
Oh, wow.
And she was able to do 46% of the vote without a big war chest.
Good for
I mean,
her.
she loses the election.
However,
But what is that?
she
46?
advances her profile.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is that? By 8 percentage points?
And that was 95% of the votes.
Can't
in.
raise that
And it was
much
90.
money?
No. She didn't have a bunch of dollars out there.
Clearly she had a great
And
ground
especially
game.
she had a great ground game. And when you're talking about running against an incumbent governor, you're talking about running against an incumbent
46%.
governor
who has no bottom on
who's
pot,
correct.
No money. Like
An incumbent governor who's running for mayor
Wow.
of a town. And he received 54% of the vote. She received 46% of the vote. Listen, I just want it's a loss, but sometimes there are wins and losses.
That's absolutely
yeah.
so.
46% is impressive.
Absolutely it is.
But clearly
when you run for a
the
campaign, you get yourself out there, you get exposure, and no telling what doors open up. That's happened for me before.
46% of the vote. There's 71,000 residents in the city
Good for
of
her.
Wilmington. And to get 46% of that number, and look, the next one I talk about data and facts. 71,000 people live in the city of Wilmington, 54% by the mayor-elect, 46% by the challenger. That says a lot. Now I'd like to know what the percentage of voters that turned out to the polls. Was it 40% of the population, especially in a primary? In a primary, was it 32%, 36, 40% of the population?
And what was the ethnic breakup?
And right.
Demographics.
Absolutely. So that's the next question. But you know what? To have not a big war chest, that was a ground game. Agree with you. So let me get ready to wrap up so I can let you guys go home. And most of all, for those of you who are watching, let me read Anthony Means. I believe in Santa Claus, but the belief doesn't matter. What did he say? I'm reading some of these cold. Leslie, let me just say hello to a couple of people who are watching. And I believe that's Inita, Corrien. Thank you. Thank you for watching with us. Leroy Jones. Leroy has been up and down the timeline, but thank you for watching, Leroy. PJ Cujo at KUJO. Thank you for watching. Hello, Monique Green. Hello, Leslie Young. Thank you for watching. And thank you so much to each of you who checked in. So I get ready to close. Let me thank each of you for your time. It's a late night.
It's all good.
It is a late night, right? But this is what service is about. Service is the price you pay for the space you occupy.
Amen.
And I know that you all are doing it to inform as well our audience. Let me say on behalf of WDAS and all of our WDAS family, you all don't get compensated for this at all. And to be with me from 8 o'clock in the evening until we are approaching right now, midnight, the bewitching hour of midnight. Let me just say personally, thank you. Thank you. It was just, and I want the audience to know, it was just an ask. It was just an ask. And you guys have been hanging out with me for the last literally 8 hours. And I appreciate it. So, Napoleon, I tell you what, don't move to San Francisco and somebody say go with me overseas and they serving Kool-Aid. But go for it. Your closing comments. I'd love to hear from you.
My closing comments. I think Kamala Harris did.
You and
well.
Donald Trump. Y'all scared to say the woman's name.
I think,
Say it with me. Say it with me.
Kamala.
Kamala. Yeah.
Like a
Kamala. Kamala.
Harris.
There we go. Go on. And then call your boy and tell him how to say, come on. Okay, go ahead. I'm just picking with you, police. Yeah.
Identify herself to the American people. I think she made a lot of points. I really feel that if she stick to what she said tonight, trying to help the middle class and help the struggling people of America, financially, and I think she probably going to do well.
What?
You gonna vote for her?
What?
You gonna vote for her?
I think
She moved the needle.
She
moved the needle. You
Ooh,
gonna vote for her?
Kamala messed around
I didn't say
and
great.
flipped.
She
And
did
she
well.
she did well. We ain't
I'm
gonna take it
gonna
too
give
far.
credit I didn't say great. I didn't say great.
I know.
But I
I'm
think
just
she did well.
I'm just
Uncle
picking with
Daddy,
you.
Uncle Donald gonna get
We
you.
will take it.
Uncle Donald gonna get you.
I thank you, Napoleon. I thank you. I thank you so much. It's tough. It's tough. And I gotta say, let me say for the people who are watching as well,
it's tough to
there
be
are.
objective.
Well, you're not objective. You're just
being a
independent
Trump
of the.
supporter,
I'm sorry.
Being a Trump supporter is tough to be.
Well, and that was
fair
going to be
and
my point.
objective
Ooh,
at times.
there you go. It's tough. You said being a Trump supporter,
And
it's
fair.
hard to be objective and fair.
At times.
Ooh.
At times.
Because he lies so much.
He lies so much.
Oh, Lord.
Oh!
No.
Are we still on the air?
You're right there.
Are we still on? You got that recorded?
We had to agree.
What are you doing right now?
We have a Trump supporter
Is
who
that on
admitted
tape?
he lies
Is
so
that
much.
on tape?
Yes.
I mean, he's a crazy man.
What?
Come on,
Crazy,
Defend him.
but he's a fighter.
So
He's
help me
seen the light.
understand.
So
But he's
you
a
go,
fire.
but you gonna vote for him?
And a racist.
Help me understand
But
why
you gonna
you.
vote for him
racist
still?
and a
Please
fighter.
help me
Man,
understand
that's
why you
that's
want
why
a crazy
I'm
man to
sick of
run the
him.
country.
Let me say this.
I don't think-
She's a fighter more than he is. She had to overcome much more than he did. All right, she had to fight to get the things she had.
He's a fighter and a
his
cheat
daddy gave him
and a
$1
liar.
million to get started. All right?
600 million.
600 million?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I didn't know it was that much.
you know Trump up there at one time too,
He what?
financially.
Yeah, what?
No, he
The
made
type of
Trump
debt that he
at one
gets
time
compared to
helped
debt is
Kamala
so
Harris.
different.
He
She
made
just
a
met him.
contribution.
She'd never seen
He
him
made-
before in
he
person.
made- that's
she
exactly
met
right.
him
Well,
tonight.
here's something that just broke from one of the major polls and papers. 63% of the American public believes that Kamala Harris won the election.
That's what we want to
She
hear.
To
checked
37%.
She provided facts
Right.
and detail.
And
detail
listen.
and facts.
He
Yeah,
gave rhetoric
60
and lies.
Let's see. Expectations versus reality. Expectations versus reality. 50% before the debate, 50% after the debate. 63% expectation, and it was
According to a
35
poll.
right
According to a
afterward.
poll.
Who won the debate? Democrat. 63% Democrat said Kamala Harris, Vice President. 33%.
The numbers
Trump.
have reversed.
The numbers have reversed.
And
Who won the
Napoleon,
debate?
you're right. These polls are
Oh, that's
important.
versus.
That was
That
back
was
during
based on
June.
June.
wow.
Yeah, that was based on June.
You're
Biden.
You're right, Napoleon. The polls matter, but getting to the biggest poll, the most important poll, is showing up
At
on
the
election
polls
day.
on election
'Cause
day.
These are just
Yeah.
Yeah.
snapshots
what
in
counts the
time.
most.
All right, and let me say this, which I was getting ready to say, is that I know a number of Republicans here in the region and several in the city of Philadelphia. I could not get any of them to do the show. And I can
Is
tell
that a
you
fact?
that is a fact. And I know two. I don't know whether you're a Republican or not, but I know that you support Donald Trump.
switch.
I know an African American male who is a Republican, and he and I talk often. It's just we don't talk politics often personally.
Sure.
But he talks. I don't get it. But prior to the former president, I used to be a guest on my show, and we talked politics. We talked strategy. Since Mitt Romney ran against Barack Obama, that's how long this guy's been doing my show.
Wow.
He is still a Republican, but refuses to do my show publicly
And does he say why?
because he doesn't want to get the heat that this man
Is willing to take.
is willing to take. So, although we disagree, you may have thought we asked you some questions that might have been a little tough. I give you a level of respect for being able to come into this forum
And be a fighter.
and take it.
But I
courage.
appreciate the
Correct.
fact that you told the truth. and the needle is moving, brother.
Well, I am a
You're
Christian.
going to be baptized soon.
I'm a Christian.
So is Donald Trump. That's what he said.
At least, well, he's selling Bibles.
Christian.
Just because you sell a Bible don't make you a Christian. Just because you sell Bibles with an autograph in it doesn't make you a Christian.
Well, thank you, Frankie Darcell.
Yes, and so I want to say to Napoleon, thank you so much, because to the council members' term, that's why you're so smart, went to that big old school you went to, that he had the courage to be able to stand on what he believed and will come in and do the show. So I just wanted to say to you, Napoleon, thank you so much. Thank you so much, because we need to be entertaining too. Reverend Dr. Rocky Brown, always
Frank,
good
it's
to have
always
you in the
good to be here
studio.
with you. I
Always.
appreciate the
Thank you
opportunity.
so much. Thank you so much to the Honorable Council Member Anthony Phillips. Come on, y'all. It takes a lot to serve. Can we give him a round of applause? Right. He was your former intern.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, can you believe that?
Well, no. Because he's aging and not us. Because I got an intern. I know what it's like when you sit next to an intern that now becomes a colleague and adult.
that.
I'll
It's a
never
wonderful
admit he was
thing.
my intern. Okay. But I thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in. You know, if I can share your story, I always like to share the story, and I'm going to tell it until whenever. Not only after getting elected, before getting elected, the council member every Sunday morning drives the church bus and always listens to headlines on Sunday. So let me just take this opportunity to mother and them of the church.
Wow.
And after getting elected, he still gets up every Sunday morning and drives the church bus. They don't care you the honorable Mr. whatever you are. You get up and come get me, bring me to church.
Call me, Anthony, you driving?
That's wonderful.
That speaks so much to your character. It does.
Very, very
And
fortunate.
to my dear friend, and I can really say that now that you're out of politics.
Yes, you can.
The honorable, and you will always be. You served with integrity, you served with character, you served with passion, and you served the citizens of Philadelphia well. And you look fabulous, child. The honorable Blondell Reynolds Brown. And to my intern, y'all, can you turn the camera? Will they hear me? They still hear me? Can we as adults, because when I called and we called on Reese to come in and produce the show today, I mean, when I told this young brother something this summer, he picked it up like that. He is a senior at St. Joe's University, and in May of 2025, he will be receiving his bachelor's degree. He is a member of the Divine Nine, the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and called on the young brother. He was like, "Oh, Miss Frankie, absolutely. I can tell you when I said to him, you know, this summer when we were having a conversation, and I said, well, you know, I remember when I had the car phone. He said, I remember, first of all, he said, you know, it's interesting that when I was born, we knew the potential of having a black president was possible because of Barack Obama. A totally different perspective than those of us on this side of the table. And so what I thought when I said, I remember when cell phones came out, he was like, I just remember getting the next new cell phone. But to you, Reese, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. Yes. This is what young black America looks like. We are in great hands. Let's not be fooled by all of the stories that we hear so often. And not just our young brothers who are in college. We got young brothers that are going to trade schools. We got young brothers who are graduating and going into our military. We got young brothers who are getting up every day that college wasn't their thing, and they're doing the right thing.
Yes,
we
they
just
are.
get so inundated too often by the negative stories. So I believe that it is important to uplift our young men, who specifically our young black men and men of color, who are doing the absolute right thing. So Reese, I support you. I'm here for you. and we'll continue to give you a fist pound.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
coming in.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
we're
you,
real
thank
proud
you.
of you.
And telling you everyone now on Thursday that my chapter at University of Pennsylvania, we are holding a voter registration table. Make sure whoever, you don't even have to attend UPenn. If you aren't registered to vote, register. And we will help you guys too if you need some help.
All
But
right.
just thank you so much for this
That's
opportunity.
Awesome. That's service.
Auntie Frankie, that's what we're calling you. Love you so much. Thank you so much. Once I got the call, I was like, I immediately have to jump on this.
Good. Y'all
Just
gonna
love
make
it
me
so
stop
much.
and get a burger taking y'all home. Let me also, the divine Miss M, who is a student at Drexel University doing the thing, just academically brilliant, just an incredible person. And I got to tell you, too, she's helping me on the theater side as well because she can dance. She can dance. And Philadelphia, part of Philadelphia. Yes, yes, part of Philadelphia. I thank you. Thank you for just, stepping right in. Stepping right in and helping us out today. Thank you so much. Your closing comments.
Of course, I always I was raised that when you're needed, you're needed. And if you're going to be there, you need to give your 100% there. So it was just like he said, Auntie Frankie, she needed me, I'm going to be there.
Oh, bless your heart.
So, and it was like an honor hearing everyone's perspectives. I come from my dad's super into politics. So it's like, he's super proud that I'm even in the space where I can talk about it at my age.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to.
Great. So thank you all so much. Let's just say November 11th. Let's say it all together. November 11th. I'm sorry. No. November 5th. November 5th. Let's vote on 3. 1, 2, 3. November 5th. Let's vote. Thank y'all.
Right.